It's a dream. I mean, surreal is really the only word I can use for it. But you know, for as long as I can remember, Jaime Reyes is the biggest Latino superhero in the DC universe. So growing up, my mom was a huge fan of comics, and I think she kind of passed down that liking to me. And it was always a dream to play this role and to get into this character. I think the most exciting thing about Jaime and Blue Beetle is, and we'll kind of get into this later, but the family aspect. You know, I really think a superhero movie hasn't really tackled that yet. You know, you see these superheroes and they're like perfect by themselves. They're like the perfect human beings. They're like, oh my gosh, he's buff, he can't do anything wrong, he always knows what to do. And I think, you know, a lot of the charm of Jaime is that, you know, he doesn't necessarily always know what to do. And you know, very similar to myself, you know, there's sometimes you're going through life and making decisions and not the surety of it all, and the knowing if what you're doing is the right thing isn't always there. But the support system that Jaime has because of his family, friends, yada, 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 is, I think, really what makes Jaime him. And I relate to that so much. My family is so integral in my comeuppance, in my growing up and everything, that they feel a little inseparable at the time or at some times, and Jaime definitely feels that way as well. The family aspect is one that this movie really hits right on the head, and you know, sometimes getting to work along phenomenal actors that are playing my family, you know, Elpidia, Damian, Adriana, Belisa, the whole core family. I look at them and I speak with them and I'm like, whoa! It you know, from the get-go, it felt like we were bonded for life, and we are now. But that is so, I haven't seen that in a superhero movie before, so I think the audience is really gonna relate to that. This family really, for better or for worse, is the driving force of everything that Jaime does, and I think you see that, and it's really just due in part to how much he cares about them, you know, and that is an experience that I you know, relate to and that I can connect with so easily, because my family is also so integral in everything that I do, and sometimes, you know, it feels like we're on top of each other all the time, but those are the best types of relationships, and I think they really provided a support system for Jaime to help him, you know, excel in everything that he wanted to do. And maybe now that he has the Scarab, the plans are a little bit different, but they're ride or dies. They're, you know, they see him for who he is, and they're gonna support him, and that really is such a important part of the story. The character of Blue Beetle is the story of someone who has been presented with this opportunity, and maybe while he's resistant at first, you know, there's sometimes where you've been granted opportunities or you've been put into a position that maybe you feel like you weren't ready for. And how you navigate that, I think, is, you know, the story that this will tell.